And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And it's a bit weird coming back to something after you've been away for about, what, it wasn't even a week and a half, but still, I'm like, why is that broken? I don't remember why that's broken. I know I was melting some stuff in there, and then, oh yeah, there was magma lying around the place. There's too much mess, too much mess. As well as that, we need to expand this out, otherwise we're going to have problems with these petroleum generators, so I need to dig in here super quick. So we need to deconstruct this, and then what we can do is we can dig an air gap right across here. And that air gap means that when we dig in down here, we'll only have to cool down this area. If we tried to cool down this entire thing, it's all 1200 degree rock. It's just too much. It's going to overheat this area, and we want to make some space as quick as possible. We want slicksters. Before we add this in, I think we're going to disable the carbon dioxide pumps. Well, I'm sure we're going to have some problems here as we start to go around and expand this out. I've also disabled the water extraction service, so there's 28 kilos of pressure in here. A little bit more steam pressure in here should help deal with this massive influx of heat we're about to chuck down here. Okay, let's see what happens when we start digging in here. This is going to get, we'll make it a nice narrow incision at first. I want to see just how much heat is in there and how quickly it drives up the temperatures in here. It's like 130 degrees roughly. It's going to get a lot warmer, isn't it? We'll just take it slow and steady. Or we'll do it just a little bit faster. I mean, we're in a tiny bit of a... Okay, we're not in a tiny bit of a rush, but I would like to get this sort of expanded out. The slicksters would be nice for our meat supplies. What are we looking at? We got about 9 million calories of frost burgers. Right. May have went a little bit overboard there. But hey, it's fine. So long as we got enough food for everyone and... well, it looks like the steel gas pumps have gone a little bit wrong. Oh, what's that? That is salt. Okay, we have liquid salt. It's probably fine. This place will cool down in a bit. Might want to start letting some of that water flow a little bit further down. You can go there, and you can go there. We want that water going all the way down here to just put a little bit of cooling at. Yeah, the joys of dealing with magma and its leftover molten rock. All right, let's just rip it all out. If we get a little bit of burning happening on some of our equipment, it's a price we are willing to pay. We may have experienced some slight damage to pieces of our equipment, but that's okay. The temperatures have now dropped to reasonable levels. We just dumped in just a butt ton of salt water. It's fine. The salt water has definitely cooled things down. You can't really tell because no matter, like, if the temperature is 200 degrees or 1,000 degrees, it still shows up as red. This, the temperature overview is not really great. Anyway, we'll have a whole bunch of temperature shift plates installed here. They're all made out of obsidian though, namely because there's a bunch of boiling hot obsidian, and once we turn that obsidian into temperature shift plates, it cools it all down. So for example, this here is under construction. It is 730 degree obsidian, and now it's, well, okay, it actually went to about 45 I think it is, but it's absorbing temperature from the surrounding area. This will help to cool down the area, the last of it, and I think that's it. We're even sucking steam out of the place now. Oh, and we should probably turn this off. We will disable auto bottle on all of those. No more auto bottling. Finished. Now, a couple of slickster ranches down here once the CO2 starts to settle. After repairing up our petroleum generators, they weren't turning on, namely because the ribbon readers we'd installed were made of lead. We made everything else out of a resistant material like iron or steel, but the ribbon readers defaulted to lead and never caught it, which meant they melted during this whole ordeal. So we've got to plug these back in real quick because our petroleum boiler is about to start backing up, and that would not be good. What are we up to? God, you are 4,719 kilos. Yeah, let's maybe get those ribbon readers back up and running sooner rather than later. Just give me some level 6s there, people. We're going to want them. Perfect. Oil is burning again, and it's so boiling hot down there that it's turning all the polluted dirt into sand. Oh, you can actually see the sand growing because of the heat. We'll have to wait till it cools down just a little bit more. We moved the carbon dioxide extraction pumps down here to the bottom right. We had to do a little bit of excavation to make themselves a nice little area, but all of the carbon dioxide is now safely down here. We've set it so that the gas element sensors are up to this point, and then we can put in our first slickster wrench down here and start turning all of that CO2 into calories for our duplicants. Also, I'm already planning what we're going to do down here. I think though we're going to water this whole area then. We'll dig it out. Once we have the mass, it'll make it much easier to convert this. We don't really need the heat. In fact, we don't even need the power. I put down some batteries and they just instantly filled. We may be generating more power than we need right about now. But a quick slickster ranch here, I'm thinking. Well, this all finishes up. There is one other problem we face. That is all of this stuff down here. You see, the moment we put slicksters in here, they're going to start pooping oil. And that oil is going to fall down here and get them in contact with, oh, let's just see, some obsidian at 182 degrees, igneous rock at 772. I'm worried some of it's going to flash to sour gas. There's just too much hot rock down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to change these automatic dispensers. We're going to copy the settings, but then we're going to change them to, say, level 5. Yep. That way, when we sweep this stuff, it should get swept up here, out of the way of down the bottom. Let's actually just start a small section first, in case it accidentally ends up somewhere else where you might have... Like, we could have a storage bin somewhere that's set to level 6 that I can't remember I've placed. I mean, it's been about a week and a half. Where are you all going? You are... Oh. You have to exit and get... Oh. I never connected these two areas just yet. Okay, someone deconstruct that. Make that a 39. Yeah, don't drop anything when you're out there, please. Okay, we'll make all of these priority 6s. The fact that they have to leave with the boiling hot stuff and their narcoleptics, you know, our oil liquid locks are big enough, it shouldn't be a problem. Probably fine. Probably. And they've swept up most of that, but I think we're good. We can sweep up all the rest, and that will put the heat right here. All that water is going to fall right on top of it, and should hopefully cool it down in a short period of time. So, go. Oh, perfect. Okay, that gets rid of all that. In fact, let's just sweep out this whole area. Once this is done, we can start putting in the slicksters. Okay, one ranch is good, but we do have some space down here that I would sort of like to excavate out, and I'm realizing if we do that later, we're going to have to deal with the boiling hot rock down here as well, which is going to cause more complications. So maybe a quick addition of this wouldn't go astray. I figure we pre-chill it with a bunch of, well, boiling hot, well, salt water. We can pump some salt water in here. That salt water will help cool this area down, and then we can sort of integrate it in here, hopefully relatively painlessly, or a lot more painlessly than the last integration went. The very, very, very simple plan here is we've sealed this box off, no one can get in or out anymore, and we're just going to start pumping in water. That will immediately, of course, flash to steam. Boiling, boiling, boiling hot steam. But we'll just keep pouring water in here until we get the temperature down to about 220, 230 degrees, and then we'll break open here and allow that steam into this room. That way, nothing in here should overheat again. That was a little bit awkward, but that means it'll be a while before this room comes online, so this is going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait just a little bit longer before we can get our slicksters going. Now, I'll keep an eye on this in the background, but while that is happening, it is time to... Actually, wait a minute. That steam is remarkably cool still. Oh no, it's got up to 200, 300, 500. Okay, so the further it goes across, the hotter it gets. Let's check what the temperature gradient is. Yep, real helpful. Real helpful there. To maybe speed this along a tiny tad, what we're going to do is put an aluminum tile right there. This might let out a little bit of steam to start with once the tile goes in, but that should give us a little bit of cooling into this section. Well, simultaneously, we're dropping water from up down here, so this should help cool down this area without letting too much heat in on us. Assuming this doesn't do anything dumb. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. It cools down the other side. We get a little bit more heat injected in here. Yeah, we're already up to 20 kilos, and this place is already looking a bit warm. Might want to do that a few more times with a couple of other steam turbines, but I think we can cool this down in a reasonable time frame. We're going to leave this on a low simmer until the steam in there has lowered in temperature enough that we can conveniently integrate it. That means we're going to be a little bit slow on getting the slicksters up and running, but I think we've got enough in resources over here. We got more than enough sulfur, and we're feeding these guys the smooth hatches on copper ore, of which we have... How much copper ore do we have again? 493 tons of the stuff. I think we're okay on copper ore, at least for a while. And food-wise, I think we're good. In fact, pretty much everything is rock solid right now. So that means we can focus on doing some proper melting. We're going to have to... Oh, we'll sweep you up as... Ooh, nope, nope, nope. I want to make sure I disable these sweeping areas over here. We don't want to be sweeping stuff in there unless we absolutely have to right now. So all of you are switched off. There's no other boiling hot stuff. We'll switch those back on when we go to sweep this area down here. But until then, everything else can go into the normal area. Now, what we are going to do now is finish melting these rocket capsules because it's time we got ourselves a mobile base. The first thing we have to do is fix this metal refinery. Now, we could just start pouring liquids or something on it to try and cool it down, but I think we're just going to deconstruct it. We can replace it with another ceramic one that has completely had its heat reset. There'll be a minor inconvenience for us as it's going to drop all that. Well, that's some pretty hot uranium it's got going on. But that uranium that it drops, we can just simply throw into some bottle emptiers and pump it right back into the next one. We'll lose a little bit of heat along the way, but that is a price we are willing to pay. Alright, someone want to replace that real quick? Now we just dumped the uranium down here. For a second there I thought there was no background on this and I just dumped a bunch of uranium into the back end of space, but it's fine. It's just that it doesn't show up very well on airflow tiles. There it is. Ah. Okay, once that is all down there, we'll chuck down a quick steel pump. The steel pump will of course overheat, but it should be able to pump out all the uranium before it breaks. It feels really dumb that this works. You can just throw down a pump and pump stuff that's 2,300 degrees. I mean, that thing should instantly just break. There should be no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You're sticking it in a liquid that is so far above its overheat temperature, it's crazy. The liquid this thing is supposed to overheat at 275. It's now 2,200 degrees over temp. Hey, but never mind. It's filled up the metal refinery. What happened was the reason we had all that issue as well is there was a blob that got broken in here. We lost a blob of liquid, so we've only got 790 kilos of uranium. But that's fine. You disable auto repair. That is fine, and we can deconstruct that immediately. Get our resources back, and it's time to start using this again. We've got 2,300 degree uranium. Now that's going to not melt the steel just yet, but let's do some math and figure out which one we want to send through. We're going to put it through this spacefarer module. We're going to turn this into, we're going to melt this top bit up here. And once that's melted, we should be able to put a scoop below it and melt all the rest of it. Here it comes. Devon's going to crank it up. We have got ourselves 24,500, or 22,456 degrees. Let's see what this is going to do. I don't think it's going to melt it on the first batch, but a couple of runs through should do this. Ooh, perfect. Now the thing is, we don't want it too hot or we'll accidentally melt the input and output ports. If we do that, it seems the game will crash out, or, well, it'll brick the save. I should really be saving these more frequently. And, yeah, we're going to need to do another run through here, but we are so close. This batch should be it. This should do it. Come on. Done, done, done. Exit. In fact, you can just shorten that loop just a wee bit. Off you go. And out of there. Okay, now that that's finished, we can mop that up. How is that igneous rock even existing there? That should... It doesn't make sense. It's in molten steel. How did it even interact with it? That shouldn't have happened. You know what? Never mind. We'll mop up the steel, we'll move it away, and now what we can do is we can build ladders out of here. Yeah, I'm sure that was a bit hot. What we're going to do is build obsidian ladders out, probably across the top like this. Then what we can do is we can build down the sides. And we're going to have to build a bucket beneath this to catch all the... Well, we want to melt the whole thing. Unfortunately, some of the stuff won't disappear at the bottom, so we have to make sure we either catch it and remove it, or make sure it's just not going to interfere with any of our future building projects. That looks almost same. All the... we're going to just run everything around the outside, and then as it melts through here, we'll then go across the top and melt the top, and eventually all of it's just going to end up down the bottom. We may have to deconstruct a few things here and there to get it flowing, but I think we should be fine. So long as we leave this tile here and we don't melt the liquid inputs and outputs. Though we will have to run the external one more time. You see, we need to run this and get the fluid inside because we want to melt it from the inside. Problem is, if we keep melting it from the outside, we'll probably melt the ports, the liquid ports. So moving it in here seems like the smart plan. Oh, and we're going to need some way to get power in there as well, so... Yeah, we're going to need to stick on a battery on top of this thing so that we can actually run power into it. And then we're going to need a power plug inside. Just the usual stuff of, you know, melting something. Battery installed. Power ready to go. And inside, how are we doing? Well, slow going, but to be expected. They've got to run in, do their bits, and then get out again. We even stuck in a bunch of obsidian here earlier. Boiling hot stuff to help heat the place up. So we're using that to make the ladder system. This looks far more efficient than our previous setups, sort of. Now, please don't melt that just yet. We should be fine. I basically just want to do a big loop all the way around, and we've only got enough for 400 kilos worth, so this might take a little bit of time, but I'm thinking with steel or iron, we should be able to melt this pretty quickly. So let's do a little bit of a time lapse. I think we're about to see a bit of a cascade. There we go. Next, come on. Another one, another one, another one. Oh, yeah. We'll turn you off for a second. We're going to want you in a minute, but I'm thinking it's mop time. Yes, some of them don't want to be mopped. They're over 150 kgs. I was expecting the mush bar print obsidian in the background. Actually, it did absorb a bunch of heat, but that's fine. Come on, mop that stuff up. And then take it out of here. I think one more batch. We probably won't even need to heat it that much, and we should be able to melt the last of this stuff. Oh, I just don't want to melt that tile, because that's the tile where we get in and out. And these two tiles here, I don't think there's much we can do about it. We might be able to melt that one, but I don't want to melt that one. Then we're getting too close to the door. I'm not sure if that would cause any glitch out if we actually melt the steel that's behind that interior hatch. With this final batch, that should be the end of it. Yeah, maybe mop all that up while you're in here. Come on. That's another one bites the dust. Ooh. And mop that up while you're here as well. Ooh. That worked out just about perfectly. We melted everything we wanted to and nothing we didn't want to. What I was hoping was this would heat up enough to melt the tile touching it. And then that tile would leave a blob of liquid steel behind, which was also touching this diamond window tile, which would keep transferring heat to that liquid blob, which would eventually melt the tile below it. But once they separated, there was no way for the heat to transfer from here to here, so we managed to chop off the top two tiles and still leave ourselves the bottom bits. I was a bit worried this might go, but I thought we were reasonably safe. Guys, someone want to come along and get rid of that? I don't want to transferring any heat to anything down here. Ah, no, we're 2300 degrees. That's pretty far away. Excellent. That worked out far better than I could ever hoped. Now, mop up the last of it. Let's clear this place out. We're going to turn this into a mobile base. And what is that? Why can I see broken pipes over there? So, I've been doing some playing around on the side, and I've sort of run into a problem. Can't fit a nuclear reactor in here. I was hoping we could, like, chuck a nuclear reactor in, maybe even run a mini one. It's just, it's not just these diamond window tiles. I think I found a way to get rid of diamond window tiles, either using superheated tungsten or superheated steel. But I'll have to do some testing with that. But even if I do get rid of it, it's the location of these liquid ports kind of mess up with where you want to place steam turbines on either side. However, there's a potential solution. You see, it pointed out to me that the space you get in a large spacefarer module and the space you get in a nose cone is the exact same. As in, we could make the exact same thing in here, and there, the ports are much further away from the edge. We might be able to actually squeeze in a nuclear reactor here. The problem is, okay, can we make a nuclear reactor and then keep all the duplicants alive while it's running? That is a different test, but I was hoping to sort of squeeze in a nuclear reactor and say 6 duplicants, maybe 8. That might be possible. Yeah, that's going to take me a bunch more testing. Though at least we know how to melt. Look, we have completely melted this perfectly. All we got to do now, I figure if we melt this one, we could make a perfect rocket. Just the perfect. But that would be for another time. I think we're just going to make a basic standard living module here and use this to go get some nuclear bees. But before we do that, I think I figured out a way to maybe integrate some of this so we can get this started. I added in a little bit extra water. It was taking too long, but I think what we can do here is break in this section. Some heat will leak in, but that's fine. What we want to do is break in here. Then we can build a ladder system down, and then we can start dragging this debris out of there and putting it over here. And we've got a little blob of naphtha keeping the whole place from the heat from spilling over. See, that naphtha can get heated up to about, what is it, 500 degrees? 538. It's only 4 something down there, so we should be fine. Plus, it's going to exchange a bit of heat with whatever's out here. I think this should be good. All right, once everyone's sealed that, well, once we've got the ladders down, we're going to start scooping this out and see if it helps. I am a little bit concerned that dumping this much hot rock up here is going to cause problems, but we'll risk it. We'll do a chunk of it now, see how it works out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we can, well, deal with the consequences and then seal this area back up. But I think we should be fine. Well, this is taking far too long. It's like 460 degrees. Well, yeah, roughly 400 and something plus degrees in here. If we let all of that steam in there, it's going to swamp the place. So, oh, and the temperature over here is now 190 degrees with all those hot rocks there. It's fine. It's fine. 190 degrees all the way around. I think I've got an idea on how to help kill this heat just a little bit faster. We're burning off petroleum, but what if we run the petroleum through here first, soak up the heat, and then when the petroleum gets burned in the generators, the heat is destroyed? Or it makes boiling hot water. You know what? Let's just find out. We'll dip this down through here. Actually, we can have it take a right there. Yeah, we can just cut in right here, have it weave through here, and then up again. Easy peasy. Perfection. All right, so the oil is going to come in here at about 100 degrees. And I'm only using granite pipes. There's no need to use anything too crazy. And this will slowly draw heat all the way across. As it gets colder and colder in here, we'll have to replace them with some radiant pipes. But for now... Ooh, yeah, that's good. Actually, maybe put a few radiant pipes near the end, just to make sure we're drawing as much... No. No. Let's be cautious about this. Let's just dump some really boiling petroleum into this and see if it causes any huge issues to start. Oh, and I better put a little bit of a bridge on the end here. You need a bridge right here to force that stuff into the generators. And once all of that is burned off, then we can continue on. It works. It works beautifully. All of this petroleum is being, well, all the heat is being destroyed. I mean, we're in a rush here. We don't want to turn this all into power. We don't need the power. Our power is maxed out. We've got petroleum generators, steam turbines going up here, and we've also got this whole geothermal power plant, which is overheating because there's no need for it anymore. It's just never being used. It's sitting there, never activating, ever. Yeah, I think we can afford to burn off this heat. I was almost tempted to start throwing temperature shift plates made of ice in here, but that just felt a little bit too far. It took a while. It took a long while. Sorry about the late video, but we finally managed to drag the temperature in here below 275, which means this can now be integrated. Oh, finally. Right, you can go. That should join those two up. You know what? Let's maybe strip that out a little bit more. Get rid of those two, get rid of that, and mop up that blob of liquid. There is 50 kilos of pressure in here, so there's that, but should be fine. Probably. We'll let that slowly fold up and mingle. While that has been going on, we have been doing some prep work over here. This is the smaller capsule. What I want to do is I want to melt this diamond. We're kind of running into a bit of a problem. You see, melting stuff, normally what we do is we heat something up really hot, and then we run it through some pipes, and the pipes heat up whatever we're trying to melt, and the thing melts. The problem we face is the best temperature-resistant material we have to make radiant pipes out of is tungsten, which melts at 3,421 degrees. Diamond, which is what we're trying to melt, melts at 3,926 degrees, which means we can't make a liquid pipe out of, or any type of pipe that won't melt before the diamond does. So any pipe we put through this will melt first, and the diamond will just sort of laugh it off. So I've got an idea. It's not the smartest idea, but it might work, is the best I've got. So, we have this uranium. It's heated up to 3,412 degrees, and we've run that through these things. We've got the diamond as hot as we can possibly make it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to close loop it. As in, we are going to seal that off there and that off there. Should we delete the pipes? Actually, let's delete these pipes as well. I think we can deconstruct these pipes and remove them. We're going to close seal this loop, and we're going to heat up the uranium to its literal close to boiling point. It turns into rock gas at 4,131 degrees. We're going to heat it to about 4,100. And when we do that, let's see, that should be capable of melting the diamond. However, getting enough temperature into it, I'm not sure how possible it's going to be. We're going to try, but I can't make any promises on this working. Ooh, and we should probably sweep that up. I'm pretty sure that just dumped a bunch of heat into those tiles. Alright, how are we looking? That's good. Let's start rotating this around and maxing out its temperature as high as we can go. We are starting to get dangerously close to this uranium just flashing into rock gas. It's at 4,099 degrees. Once we put this gold through, it should raise its temperature by about 15 degrees. So, well, okay, there's a little bit of heat being lost into the ceramic piping. So, once we hit 4,131 degrees, which is about 27 degrees more, this stuff would just destroy itself. But I think one more gold amalgam, and then that's as far as we can take it. Gold produces the least amount of heat of all of the metals that you can put through this. So, why does it keep saying water? We've got uranium in there. It's waiting for the next one to come through. Alright, we'll do one more round. That'll put us about 4,100 and I want to say 20? Not 27. Yeah, we're losing a little bit of heat into the ceramic piping as it passes through. So this ceramic pipe is now up to 90 degrees, which is pretty good, considering the liquid passing through it is at 4,000 degrees Celsius, which is capable of melting, well, everything, even diamond. Diamond melts at 3,900. Now, what's it at? Oh, 127. Thing is, we have about another, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 4 degrees. Say on a 2-degree cushion, so we got about 6 degrees more of temperature overhead. There is nothing we can put through this that won't make it just colder. Right. So, time to empty storage. We're going to empty the storage onto airflow tiles because it won't exchange heat with anything. And then we are going to use a bottle emptier to dump it onto some diamond and hope there's enough in it to cause the diamond to melt. Yeah, not my brightest plan, not exactly genius or anything. It's just brute force and stupidity, and let's see if it works. Okay, we got 4,127 degree uranium. It's got a good thermal capacity. I'm hoping we only need 200 kilos or less to melt the first tile. And then if it overflows, hopefully it'll land on the second tile, which might save us a bunch of time. Seriously? Lunch? Nah, you were just... Oh, I just realized something. If one of them drops this while they're traveling... If they drop that while they're traveling across here, we're in serious trouble. That is perfect. That is perfect. That is 200 kilos. 200 kilos. That is good. Okay. Yeah, that worked. You are now a sweep-only command. That is beautiful. The rest is pouring down. Okay then. Okay, that works. Put that there, get rid of this. Then we put the second bottle emptier down here, and we emptied this 200 kilos into it, and we're done. We'll have melted diamond. And then we can stick in a nuclear reactor. Should be able to squeeze in right here. It's going to be a tight fit, but if we can get rid of the second tile, there should be a reason. We should be able to fit in a full-size nuclear reactor in here, is the theory. Okay. Come on. Done. Holy Christ, it actually worked. And there we've got some refined carbon. That's all going to escape into the background of space. You know what? I'm good with it. We're done with the uranium anyway. That is a whole bunch of boiling hot uranium that is gone. Okay. That worked disturbingly well. And you can be deconstructed. All right, I am way over time. Melting rockets. It's not that easy. Well, okay, the steel is easier. The steel is still hard, but it's not nearly as hard as the diamond. That diamond is really hard to melt. It's possible. Just takes a bit of a time investment and a lot of effort. Oh, and down here, strapping the our sauna on top of this was probably not a good idea. It takes too long to expand. Trying to drain all the heat out of this just takes forever. But it's done now. We're down to 200 degrees. Well under 200 degrees. We can easily have all of our stuff survive in here. I'm going to just chuck in some slickster wrenches here. But mainly I'm going to spend my time trying to figure out how exactly we're going to squeeze in a nuclear reactor. I'm thinking one up here. And just in the prelim testing I was doing, we should be able to squeeze in enough steam turbines. So I'm not sure if we can get the full 9. A full 9 steam turbines would be great, but we might not have enough room for everyone to survive and still give them radiation shielding so they can live to the other side. But a nuclear rocket with a nuclear engine and a nuclear reactor core in the middle just sounds too good not to at least try. You know what I mean? If we're going this way and we're playing casual, we might as well just go all out. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed and good luck.